Well, welcome to another episode of Mickey's Earbuds. This is Justin. I'm here with my buddy Dave,
Hey,
and we are going to be talking today about our top five Disney dishes.
I'm
Um,
super excited for this one.
yeah, well, I mean, you're gonna, if you don't know this about us already, you're gonna know very, very quickly that Disney food is not just an interest of ours. It's a passion. So we love this stuff and we love to talk about it. So we're gonna dig into our personal favorites tonight.
Do you know why this is a bad choice to do today?
Why is this a bad choice?
Because I'm keeping with my tradition of not having had dinner prior to our podcasting.
Something tells me you're going to be doing like a copycat of one of these dishes that we discussed tonight over a dinner meal later this week. That's probably just the way it's going to work out for you.
I've only made one Disney copycat dish in my entire life at home, and I bet you that you've done the same one.
I don't know. Which one is it?
Tonga toast.
Yes, I have done that one. Of course, I've made many other Disney copycat dishes, but I have definitely done Tonga toast.
Which,
It is a heavy favorite of my wife's, and honestly, when she listens to this episode some point, she will probably want me to make it for her again. So.
But all right, you said you had a this or that for me this time.
I do have a this or that for you, and in keeping with the theme, it is Disney food. This or that is this particular Disney food dish versus that particular Disney food dish, and so that's how this one's gonna go. So I got a spattering of different things there, from appetizers to desserts, quick service, table service. It kind of covers the whole gambit here, but I have 8 of them. I'll start off on the first one here. You're going to get, we'll say, fish and chips. Are you going to go to Columbia Harbor House in the Magic Kingdom or the Yorkshire County Fish Shop at Epcot in the United Kingdom?
Oh, Epcot. Easy.
No contest there.
No contest. The only advantage the other one has is air conditioning.
And a second floor.
And well, yeah, but air conditioning is the most important thing.
Oh, okay. You and your air conditioning.
Hey, I live in Florida. Let me tell you something about air conditioning. It's fantastic.
Hey, just now that you bring that up, just as kind of like a precursor to all of these things, because I know how hot it gets in Florida. Let's say, for sake of argument, you're going in like January this time. So let's take the heat out of the equation.
Remove the heat problem. Okay.
Yeah, let's take the heat problem out of the equation. So you're not going for air conditioning. If it's cold versus hot, you can still evaluate with or without the heat here. Okay?
Okay. I just, you factor in AC because, it's going to be like 90 half the time. But I will pretend that I am perfectly able. Still, my answer still stands. Epcot was what I would choose.
All right. Okay, number 2. You're going for probably the biggest, most shareable ice cream dish you can find. Are you going to get the kitchen sink at Beaches and Cream, or are you going to get the Earthquake Sundae at Ghirardelli?
Ooh. I'd rather go with Ghirardelli every day of the week. It is just so much better.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Yeah, I would agree. The quality is better. However, I do enjoy the presentation of the kitchen sink at Peaches and Cream.
Oh yeah, that's a totally true. Just Ghirardelli, like when I make chocolate chip cookies, I use Ghirardelli chocolate chips if we have them, which I try to have on hand all the time.
Well, yeah, when you're going to make a chocolate dish, spare no expense. Get the good stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, Ghirardelli. I had forgot about that place until you brought it up. That would be a great get back at soon.
Oh gosh, yeah, it would. Now I'm kind of craving that at the moment. Maybe not the Earthquake.
You are Mr. Ice Cream between the two of us.
I really am. I really am. It doesn't really matter what time of the year it is. I mean, even up here in Maryland, it could be January or more likely early February, and the temperature could be 10 degrees outside and the wind is blowing and everything. You will find me very happily sitting down to a bowl of ice cream in the evening.
That sounds really good to me.
And in case anybody's wondering, when we drop below 4 containers of ice cream in our freezer, it's time to go out and get more. So, which, now that I think about it, I think that means it's very nearly time to go out and get more. All right.
Doing it to yourself
the next
here.
one. Let's get away from this for a little bit. Next one. Oh, I'm sorry. I lied. We're going to be touching on it again. All right, you're in the France Pavilion. Are you going to get some ice cream or are you going to get one of their delicious pastries?
I'll probably do the ice cream encased in the brioche. That is just so good.
So this one for me is a flip a coin one. So, I mean, I personally wouldn't be able to decide. So thank you for deciding for me.
Yeah, they are good.
All right. Also in Epcot here, are you going to get the school bread in Norway, or are you going to get caramel corn from Caramel Kuch in Germany?
I think I am going to go get the corn because you can get a lot more of it. And I just love good popcorn.
All right. So far, I got to say, you are 4 for 4 on what I thought you would pick, but all right. Next one is you're going for a sweet beverage here. Ooh. Are you going to get Le Fou's Brew at Gaston's Tavern or the peanut butter and jelly milkshake over at 50's Primetime Cafe?
So this is both practical, but also because I really like it, I would go with Le Fou's Brew.
5 for 5.
Why? It's good. Milky products walking through the parks after a while. Like the milkshakes are really good in theory, but milk gets heavy. And I don't know, maybe this is just me, but the apple juice drink, it just feels cold, very cold. I don't know. It's really cold going down.
And the toasted marshmallow flavor is pretty good too.
It is pretty good.
Yeah, I do like Le Fou's Brew, but I gotta say in that particular case, I probably would have gone PB&J milkshake. It's one of our favorites. It's one of the ones we've done at home too. Definitely goes over well. All right. We're going to step into, okay, let's do one more on the dessert track here. Are you going to get a standard Dole Whip or are you going to get the Peter Pan themed one over at Storybook Treats, the one with the key lime?
Ooh. You see, again, like you were talking about a coin flip, that sounds about right. Probably, it depends. It's like, what direction am I walking into that area? Where am I at the time? Yeah, that they're both equally good. I don't know. There you go.
Okay. See, I had no idea what you pick on that one, but
yeah, that neither did I, because it's
clearly. All right. Also in the Magic Kingdom, are you going to get the chicken waffle sandwich from Sleepy Hollow, or are you going to get the bacon macaroni and cheese hot dog at Casey's Corner?
Oh, the hot dog.
Okay.
And it's only by like a hair.
Yeah. The chicken waffle sandwich is really good.
Yeah.
And lastly, and here we're going to step into the signature realm of things. Are you going to get the cheddar cheese soup at Le Cellier or the mushroom bisque at Artist Point?
The mushroom bisque.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've had both, and I don't think they make the mushroom bisque anymore.
Actually, they do. I did double check their menu, and they still have it on there.
Yeah, that surprises me as well. But maybe it's because I've only ever had Le Cellier's cheddar cheese soup at the Food and Wine Festival and not in restaurant.
Well, I gotta say, having had it at both, I personally can't tell the difference.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I love the
except in the serving dish and possibly portion size, I can't tell the difference.
oh yeah, you go to the Food and Wines Festival, you're getting like a sip for. But I love the earthiness. I love the saltiness, the creaminess of the mushroom soup. But that's assuming it's still the same. So
I'm with you there. See, I don't like mushrooms, but I do love that mushroom bisque.
it's the same here. I will eat a mushroom if it's in something, but if it's the thing, I will stay away. Um, Curiously, fun story. The way I had it the first time was we went to Artist Point on my honeymoon, and Elena and I went to Artist Point and Jico. Jico is my favorite, but Artist Point ends up being, well, no, it's not there anymore. It was super inconsistent. But our waitress, because she found out it was our honeymoon, it was in our information, she gave us all the free stuff she could, including the free mushroom soup. And my wife and I don't like mushrooms. And I'm not picky at all. Justin can testify to that. My wife, on the other hand, is incredibly picky, and both of us loved it. And it was really good. Also,
Wow.
go do Disney signature restaurants on your honeymoon or on your anniversary. They'll take care of you.
Absolutely 100% agree with that. Having done that, I mean, pretty much whenever we go to Disney, based on our work schedules and everything, my wife being a teacher in particular, we're pretty much stuck with going in the summer. And usually we just end up going around or about our anniversary, which is also in the summer. And so pretty much every time we go to Disney World, it seems we're celebrating our anniversary and we try to hit a signature restaurant anyway. They find out we're doing an anniversary and it's just top notch every time.
Oh yeah, they're really good. Well, there any more for me?
No, that's it. That's the full list.
Oh boy, I can go. See again, doing this one I haven't eaten yet. Did you eat? What am I saying?
Yes,
Of course you
I
did.
did. I did have dinner before this recording, so I tried to make sure because I know at some point we're going to be talking about the food. So
Yeah. Food. All right. So how should we start this?
well, you know, we're saying our top fives, right?
Yeah, let's try to be disciplined here.
Okay, let's try to be very disciplined here. I don't know about you, but are you able to actually like rank your top fives, like say this is the best of the best, or are you just saying, well, they're all in the top five somewhere?
I think I could say number one.
Okay. So
So
see, you're at a better place than I am because for one thing, you're limiting me to five, which is hard in and of itself. But yeah, then you actually have a number one, and I just don't have a number one.
why don't we make another rule for ourselves? Let's
Okay.
do entrees, not desserts, and not appetizers.
Entrees, not desserts, and not appetizers.
And
All right.
let's also not do breakfast this time.
No breakfast. Okay, so we're looking at a lunch or dinner, entree, table service, quick service. Does that matter?
Let's all that's fine, but let's narrow it down a little bit so that it's a little less daunting.
Okay.
And of course, since we're narrowing it down, you could play yourselves as well, of course, and let us know what you think. Should we start with number one or should we start with like number five?
You know what? Let's start from the bottom and work our way to the tippy top.
Okay, that sounds good. That sounds really good. I am gonna make sure I am literally on the Disney food website right now to make sure I can get the names exactly correct because I my number five is at Al Forno Trattoria.
Trattoria Al Forno.
Yes, at Al Forno, and mine is the steak meal they have there. The way they do, and here's the thing: Disney is good at steak. It's hard. I have this thing, and Justin and I've talked about it before. Is it worth going out to get steak?
Mm.
I am of the opinion 90% of the time, no. And my argument is you pay a lot more for steak when you can make it, and there's good people teaching you how to make it at home, and you can make it as good or better.
Right.
I think you can respect that. I don't know if you 100% agree with that, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I definitely do respect that. And for me, I will say there are certain restaurants I will go to and get steak without question. And then there are other restaurants that I'm just not going to do it. And I got to say, at most restaurants, and this includes Disney World, most restaurants, I will avoid the steak entree unless it's something that I know that they're famous for.
Yes, and that's the big sticking point. If they're famous for the steak, then it's worth it. But so this actually, and I could recommend El Forno completely. Absolutely fantastic restaurant. The menu seems to change a bit. Um, in fact, looking at it right now, it doesn't even seem like it's there anymore. Um, it was like a lemony pasta steak that was cooked in a special Italian way. They don't seem to have it anymore, having looked at it.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, they changed the menu here a lot though, which is actually, as a millennial, I like when they change menus. It's like, oh wow, it moves with the season. So they don't actually have the steak there anymore.
Okay.
It was a pesto steak. It was like $35. It came with a side of pasta, and if you've ever been to Al Forno, you of course get their house made bread, which is excellent.
It is really good.
And they do the fancy olive oil that you can dip it in with possibly my wife's most favorite vegetable, and within my top 5 vegetables, broccolini.
Ooh, broccolini.
Yeah, you know how expensive broccolini is?
Must be pretty darn expensive because I know we don't eat it at home.
We have a place that gets broccolini in. It's like $5 for like a half a pound. I'm like, what? Why is this so expensive? So it could be how they're sourcing it, but still, it was. Yeah, they don't have that steak. I'm looking at El Forno now. They have the Disney standard oak grilled strip steak,
Okay.
which is solid. The oak grilled strip steak is solid, but yes, Al Forno's formerly like pesto lemon steak, which is not there, but if I special ordered it, that's probably my 5th best dinner I've had.
Sounds good.
All right, now your turn. I already have my number one in my brain. I don't know about you.
Okay, I think I'm starting to formulate a number one. So in case the one that's in my head ends up being the number one, I'm going to avoid it for now. Gosh, so much to choose from here. I'm trying to think what it was that I had. I mean, since you've eliminated the whole appetizer thing, that does make it just a little bit tricky because I could go on and on about good appetizers. Case in point, Trattoria Al Forno. I love their fried calamari.
Oh yeah, calamari is one of those things again. Like you can kind of get it everywhere, but not everyone does it great.
Yeah, I think they do a better job there than at all the other Italian restaurants on property, at least the ones that I have been to.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am going to go with I'll go along with the Italian side of things, I guess. And trying to think where it was. Ah, yes. Okay. So I'm going to go with, yeah, this is in my top 5. And I totally understand it won't be in everybody's. This is not the place you normally think of. But I'm going to take us over to Hollywood Studios at Mama Melrose's Ristorante Italiano.
Okay.
And one of the things that I like to get when I go to a good Italian restaurant is I am pretty much usually stuck on what is the pasta dish with all the seafood in it. So, I mean, I'm from Maryland. It's a thing. We love our seafood. And
oh, yeah. Let me tell you, this guy and I, this is what we're all about.
Yeah. So over at Mama Melrose's, and I believe this is what I had the last time I was there, was their seafood fra diavolo, which includes shrimp, mussels, calamari, fish, and spaghetti tossed with a spicy tomato sauce. That's the Diavolo part, is the spicy tomato sauce. And I got to say, just the right amount of kick for me. I mean, some people like things more spicy, some not spicy at all. I'm definitely somewhere in between, and this hit me right in my bread basket. And
Is it still there?
What's that?
Is it still sitting there?
I wish
we
it
hope
was.
not.
Sometimes I wish it was, but no, it was just really good, and they did not skimp on either the portion size or the amount of seafood in the dish. I remember digging through that, and I was like, "Ooh, wow, more calamari, ooh, more shrimp," and it just seemed, those in particular seemed to keep coming. The fish kind of disappears in it in a way, and the mussels, you can pretty much immediately tell how many mussels are in there because of the shells. But it was very, very good, and of my seafood pasta experiences, I would say that's the one that sticks out as most memorable.
Ooh, that's really good. That one thing, again, to compliment Disney, and we're not, we are fanboys. They are always not afraid to do top shelf, and they never skimp. I've
Right.
never had them skimp on me. I don't know about you, if you ever felt like, this is a little on the cheap side. I've never had that experience.
There was only one experience. I won't bring it up because try to stay positive on this equation there,
Yeah.
on this program here. But I just, I won't bring it up. But I have one experience where they skimped, but they made good on it when I said, yeah, hey, this really wasn't up to standards in the past, and they refunded us. So.
Wow. See,
Yep.
but the fact that they took action on it is what matters. They actually cared enough to say, "Hey, look, we agree. Here's your money back." That's worth it as well to me.
Yeah.
That still speaks highly of their staff, which is just, and it's a magical moment. They turned it around for you.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to bring us
man.
way down now, down to the ground for a little bit, because I think I started us up. You took us even further up to the signature level. I'm going to bring us
Mama Melrose's is not signature.
Okay, well, we are sitting at the same level then. Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring us down to the ground. You ready?
Ready.
You've been here with me. I've eaten this. You've tried some of it with me. No. I'm talking about the hog in a box.
The hog in a box. I totally forgot about that.
The hog in a box at Cook's of Dublin. It comes in a Chinese food container, or used to. It's a slow roasted pork shoulder, potatoes, like some sort of onion stuffing, caramelized, some apples. And then because you're at the Cook's of Dublin, it comes with chips, of course. And I don't mean chips as in American chips. I mean chips as in like French fries. And I'll always get the enhancement of the Dubliner Irish cheese and bacon dip.
Oh.
Ooh. Let me tell you, bringing it down to humility. Now, I'm not saying this is number 4, but it is it's fun. And Cook's, give it a shot, y'all.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
I know Raglan
I totally forget that place, but you're right, man. The Cook's of Dublin is where it's at.
And by the way, in your fish and chips or this or that, if you had said their fish and chips, I would have said, yes, Cook's fish and chips over the other two.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Every day.
Yes.
They're I don't know that they're underrated, but they are. If my wife and I and we have friends, we're like, where should we go to eat? We'll look at a couple. Like we might look at Wolfgang Puck's quick service, but if Cook's is not busy, we're at Cook's. Even in the heat, y'all. Even in the heat.
Even in the heat.
Though I will say, there's nothing like sitting out there on their outdoor eating area, and it's like getting towards evening. This is literally what happened with Justin the time we were there. It was later in the evening, and we're all eating out on the patio, and I'm eating the hog in the box. I think you got the fish and chips, and I think we were kind of just like, you try this, you try that, and it was just a good time.
Yeah, I got the fish and chips, but we went back since then. I think without you at that particular time, and I did get the hog in a box because I had fond memories of just trying it when you had it, and so I had to get some for myself, and it was definitely a good life decision.
Now, are they in the same kitchen as Raglan? Is it the same kitchen?
I
Probably.
I think they could be. They're definitely the same building. Yeah, so it's quite possible that they're pretty well connected there.
Yeah, they are. I don't know that they're underrated, but they sure are good.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. Where's the? I'm seeing if they have a Yelp review. They're not up right now, but I know I left a positive Yelp review. So there you go. I brought it down to a actually incredibly affordable place. So your turn, man.
All right. Well, I am going to bring it down as well, and I've got to mention this, even though we've touched on it a little bit in the this or that. I've really just got to bring this to a standout because it's remains for me the most extremely memorable quick service experience for me at the Magic Kingdom, and I have been to be our guest at lunch, and it's quick service. So just saying, I'm putting this over be our guest at lunch, and that's this is so that means this is some really high praise here. I've got to bring up that bacon macaroni and cheese hot dog at Casey's Corner.
Okay. Wow.
I have got to go on that because I got to say for years we've been going to Disney for years, and there was a time there where Casey's Corner was okay. I'm gonna wait in line for a hot dog. I mean, really?
Mm.
And it wasn't that much of a hot dog. I mean, it was your typical hot dog. Sure, they still had the sauerkraut on the side. I mean, if you like that sort of thing, I know I do. But still wasn't up to waiting in such a long line for a hot dog. But then after that, they stepped their game up to these foot long conies basically, and where the hot dog pretty much exceeds the bun that they put it
Ooh.
on by a long shot, and then they just top this thing, smother it in that Disney macaroni and cheese and bacon bits. And the hot dog, it's an all beef hot dog. It's not your typical run of the mill. Well, it could be pork, it could be chicken, it could be beef. We don't know. Maybe it's all three. No, this is an all beef hot dog smothered in macaroni and cheese and bacon bits. And I gotta say, some people, I'm sorry, if you're a little squeamish about about disgusting food combinations, you might want to plug your ears for the next 30 seconds. I gotta say, I still put a little sauerkraut on it too. But
When
it's
you say all the things about like what I like to call them composite hot dogs. Every time you say someone talks about hot dogs, I think of beef, pork, chicken. Yum.
Yeah, so no, all beef hot dog and topped with all that macaroni and cheesy goodness, and of course the bacon. Yeah, that was definitely a huge standout to me when they started doing that, and I gotta say it's hard for me to resist Casey's Corner ever since.
What was now Justin and I we went to college together. We told you guys this. What was the name of that hot dog that we would get in like the box of like 100 of them? Do you remember? We'd buy them and they'd live in the freezer.
Oh gosh, was
And they,
that
yeah, go ahead.
were they like jumbo jumbos or?
They were like beef, pork, and chicken hot dogs. They were like how I don't want to know how these are made, and they were cheap. But man, did we eat those things?
Maybe they were they Hebrew National or something.
No, they were not. They were not that. The Hebrew Nationals are all beef. They were like dirt cheap. You'd make them on the what is this George Foreman grills? We'd cook them on there.
Oh yeah.
Even you'd cook. You'd come over and grab a few, and then you'd cook them on the George Foreman grill. It's just like, what is this thing? I remember like just buying it, and it would be we just like buy this long sleeve of like over 100 every kind of meat hot dog in it. Mm.
Well, you're in college, you're on a tight budget, cheap food that's going to fill you up. You're not going to ask too many questions, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so I think I'll pick up here.
Okay.
I'm looking for it, and I guess it's off the menu.
Oh man.
Which is fine. But so I'm gonna use this one next, which is at Jico.
Uh-huh.
So this is not my number one, because but
I know where you're going with this.
Oh, well, let's see. I actually liked the Cape May seafood curry.
Okay.
Did you think I was gonna go with the steak and the macaroni and cheese?
I really thought you were gonna go with the steak and
I
mac and cheese.
actually have not had that yet.
Ooh.
It's because, remember, it's like, do I want to get the steak? I've heard that so many things about it. The okra filet mignon at Jico with mac and cheese is apparently their like most requested thing. But if I'm gonna go, I can make mac and cheese and steak at home, man. Cape May seafood curry, which has good amount of lobster, good amount of shrimp, good amount of squid. I have a thing with mussels ever since I had a reaction to them. That starts turned around. But let me tell you, if last time we were there, and that was with my wife before our baby was born, I got that. If we weren't in a public place, I would have licked that bowl.
Oh.
I basically did with the bread.
Uh-huh.
I kept asking for more bread. The guy, our waiter, was phenomenal. He brought out he matched it with a wine. We had, it was so good. It's not even funny how good that was. And that was the second time I had something like that. A seafood curry. The other time was actually at Artist Point, and they don't do that anymore there. So I don't know what it is. Seafood curry?
Probably.
I don't know. I'm not like a curry kind of guy, really. But that was good. That was really good. So that's my my number 3, I guess. That would probably be legitimately number 3.
Okay. All right. So my number 3, and this one, if you're ever on Disney World property, you're going to have to go out of the way for this one. But let me just tell you, it's worth it. I'm going to go over to Old Key West Resort at Olivia's Cafe. And this place is really popular for the people who know it's there or who have been Disney Vacation Club members for a long time. Otherwise, there's a lot of times where this restaurant is actually, you could walk up and get a table. It's not that popular per se. But go to Olivia's, and I got twice, 2 separate occasions. I plan to do a third time at some point. I got, and you can only get it at dinner, is the slow cooked prime rib. 14 ounce, according to their description, 14 ounce cut with Olivia's potatoes, seasonal vegetables, and Cabernet demi-glace.
Okay, wow.
And I think this was probably one of my first prime rib experiences in the traditional sense, not like somebody's carving you off a sliver of prime rib at like a wedding reception or something, but I mean like you have basically a steak of prime rib. And I think this is my first experience at getting that, and I gotta say, I honestly have not had a better prime rib since those 2 experiences, or in between them. I just haven't. It's been really, really good. They do a good job. The Cabernet demi-glace complements it well. And the side of Olivia's potatoes, they're basically like scallop potatoes. And they do a really good job with scallop potatoes there. It's something special. It's not like, wow, you got to have these potatoes good, but it is still really good for scalloped potatoes, and it just goes well with the whole dish. So there it is, slow cooked prime rib at Olivia's Cafe.
Was I there for the first time you ever had steak? I thought I was.
You were. Yeah, you were on the scene the first time I ever had steak. It was not at Disney World. For the listeners, that was a college experience. Yes, I waited until college to have my very first steak. It was at a Texas Roadhouse. I got the T-bone.
Was that on Valentine's Day?
It was on Valentine's Day. It wasn't. Well, they had this. They had our friends at InterVarsity Christian Fellowship had this whole thing where the girls were like, "We're gonna have a ladies' night on Valentine's Day, and we're gonna eat chocolates and watch rom-coms and chat." And us guys were like, "Well, we're gonna go to Texas Roadhouse to have steak, and then we're gonna watch an action movie."
I'm pretty sure I think I'm the one who organized this.
No, no, yeah, no.
It
And
doesn't. It's not even
funny
that
thing was, it
surprising.
actually snowed that day pretty good, and we're like, are we still doing this? And it's like, well, are we men or are we men? Saddle up the 4-wheel drive and Subarus. We're doing this, you know.
Yeah. I was in your truck, I think, for that one too. That was what was the name of that thing that you had in college?
Oh, that was a GMC Jimmy 1992 vintage.
Woo-wee, that thing. Talk about a faithful vehicle, man.
Oh, yeah. It, it was good.
I remember when we'd get that thing up to speed and start shaking the whole thing.
88 miles per hour.
That's oh man. Like, is it supposed to rattle? Don't worry about it. Oh my goodness me. You should never have sold it. You should have kept it and be like, that's our farm car. Oh man.
Yeah, pretty much the whole powertrain ended up busting on that one at, I don't know, 260,000 miles.
Dang. All right. I wanted to not do this, but I'm going to do it. I can't find, there's so many good options, but I'm just going to go now with, I wanted to go back down to like a hog in the box like level, but it's just tough. It's real tough. So for number 2, have you is at the Boathouse.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, I've not been.
I've been twice. And the baked crab stuffed lobster.
Mm.
It's a lobster baked in jumbo lump crab, grilled asparagus, melted butter. It's just there are no words. Why I went there was because I had a gift certificate, not because I can afford it. Literally both times. I mean, if we wanted to, but that was the words I don't have. I remember just eating it so fast that my shirt was a mess with butter, and they kept the butter coming. So, and that restaurant, you've walked in there, right? At least just to check it out.
Sadly, I cannot say that I have. I've just been around the outside.
And we, I'm that guy who's like, hey, can I just walk in there and look around? They're like, oh, sure.
I've done that a couple of times too, but no, not there.
It's really cool in there. Right on the water on Disney Springs. They have all these vintage wooden boats, and they have just like the paraphernalia. My wife absolutely loves the setup because it reminds her she grew up on a lake, it was called Lake Chautauqua, and it reminds her of like the kind of lifestyle she was around when she was a kid. And it's really good. The company that runs that place is pretty nice too. It is top notch, top ratings. That's got to be our next seafood together place. You know that, right?
Yeah, I guess it's gonna have to be now that you've talked it up.
They also have the water cars. The cars.
Oh yeah.
Which, by the way, why don't they invent things like that more? You know, why aren't there more like water cars?
Probably expensive or something. I don't know.
Like you'd think like people would be developing like this car goes both in water and on land a lot more often than just like once in history. I don't know. You know, it's like, where are the flying cars? It's the same question, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was good. And that was tough because I was thinking maybe Chicken Guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Chicken Guy is good in a solid chicken way. But I think taste to taste, the Boathouse. Yes, there you go. It's my number 2.
All right. Well, all right. So here's my number 2. I'm going to take us over to Epcot. Not going signature level here, but to be honest, in some ways it might as well be Le Chef de France.
Oh yeah, that place is good.
Yeah. over there, it's interesting when you go there. I don't think, yeah, it's like, yeah, for whatever reason, they don't have French onion soup on the menu. They just have onion soup. I don't know why. I jest, but anyway,
Here it's just onion soup, sir.
But my entree of choice there, and I've only had it once. I want to go back and get it again, because it's. I look here and it's still on the menu. Maybe it came off and went back on. I don't know. It's been that long that could have happened. Is listed on the menu, and please forgive me. I do not speak French. I do not know how to pronounce French, so I'm just going to do my best. Canard à l'orange. Okay. Seared duck breast and leg confit, sweet potato puree, zucchini, sauce à l'orange.
Ooh.
Wow. Just wow. That had me hooked on duck, pretty much.
Huh.
I had never had duck until I had this, and that falls into the category of things I am less willing to try elsewhere. I will definitely try at Disney World, just because I trust them by and large that it will come out not only edible but tasting fantastic in some way. And I had the duck there, and it was perfectly cooked, tender, juicy. And some people were asking me, well, what is duck? I've never had duck. What does duck taste like? I said, properly prepared, it's like chicken, only better. It's the only way I could really think to describe it. And over at Hollywood Studios at the Brown Derby, they actually have kind of their own version of this. They have duck on their menu there. And I had it, and it was good, but I wasn't as impressed as I was at Chef de France. In fact, they had one of the they have these characters that walk around in different places at Hollywood Studios called, I think, the Stars of Hollywood or something like that. They're supposed to be portraying actresses of Hollywood's golden age, or actors and actresses of Hollywood's golden age. One of them was wandering around the Brown Derby, which is a signature restaurant, alcoholic beverage in hand, or at least presumed, and stopped by our table and asked how everything was, and of course she stayed in character, but to a degree. And then she asked, did you get the duck? Oh, I love the duck. And she said, but I'm going to ask you a question and be honest. Have you ever had it at the France Pavilion at Epcot? I said, yes. She said, which one do you like better? I said, I have to give the slight edge to the France Pavilion. She said, just between you and me, I agree. But don't tell the chef that, or he'll cut off my drink chain. So anyway, that was my number 2.
Ooh. All right. So my number 1's going to be Cop Out.
All right. Before you get to your number 1, do you have like an honorable mention or something like that?
There's a couple honorable mentions. I had a couple of really good scallop entrees at Citrico's. I've had a really fantastic pizza at Wolfgang Puck's Quick Service. That's really good. Honorable mention at, and this one it was hard. I had to pick. And Morimoto's, their spicy steak.
Okay.
I mean, it's like pepper steak, and then, ooh, man, it was so good, and it's like face hurting good.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple of things where I'd be like, that was tough. And there's short ribs at Morimoto's too. It's just out of this world. Yeah. But those would be kind of my honorable mentions. How about you?
All right, I'm trying to see what it was called again, but before I do, I don't want to mention this one in my top 5 because it really is in a class all its own, and that would be Victoria and Albert's at the Grand Floridian Resort.
Yeah.
And also because the menu is it rotates. It really is up to kind of where the freshest ingredients are coming from, and so it changes all the time. So I'm not saying you'd be able to go there and order this. They just prepare for you their best dishes and bring them out. So in this particular case, one of their best dishes, and I don't remember the full name of it. It's on a menu that we have printed out somewhere because we were celebrating our 5th anniversary. But it was king crab wrapped in kind of kind of like those fried noodles you get at Asian restaurants. It was wrapped in something like that. Ooh. And topped in something similar to, and it wasn't, but it was similar to like a thermidor sauce or something like that. And I think there was another fish on the side that I forget what it was called, but oh my goodness, it was the best. I know this is shocking being a Marylander. I'm not the hugest fan of king crab. Sometimes for me it's just a little too rich, but this was absolutely perfect. The other honorable mention I have actually shares the same kitchen with Victoria and Albert's, or their kitchens are connected, really. They don't share the same kitchen. Their kitchens are connected. Their dishwashing station is what they share. But it's Citricos, which you mentioned as well. And there I had, for our 4th anniversary, the red wine braised beef short ribs. They've been on the menu for 15 years. So at that time, now it's 16, 17 years, they've been on the menu. Anything that has that kind of staying power on a Disney menu has got to be good. And it was absolutely fantastic. I've never had beef short ribs quite as good. But those two are kind of in classes all their own. But I'll save my most memorable dish for when you come back to me for number 1. So go ahead on your number 1 cop-out.
All right, so why my number 1 is a cop-out is because it's kind of a fad, but it's a fad that has earned it. Mm. And this is a dish that my wife got, but we split it because she likes to try what I get, and I like to try hers. They don't even have this at Jiko anymore. And yes, I'm back at Jiko. Jiko is consistently, to me, I think it's one of the best signature restaurants out of the many I've been to. I can't say it's the best because I haven't been to them all, but out of the ones I've been to, I think it's the best.
Okay.
And I'm talking about when we got the Wagyu beef with root vegetables.
Ooh,
yeah. So Wagyu beef, this is why it's a cop-out. Wagyu beef is such a fad right now. Now, it's not real A5 Japanese Wagyu. It's American Wagyu. Yeah. But they raise it the same way. They do all the same things. It's just not from Japan itself. It's just these same raised cows raised in the U.S. It was, again, like I said, my big thing about steak is I feel like you could get a steak's pretty samey pretty much everywhere, and you could do it yourself just as good. Yeah. It was like butter. Mm. It was so tasty. My wife still raves about it. I'm trying to think of words to describe it. It is tender. It's buttery. It doesn't need any compliment. And of course, the compliments they have there were great. They had like a little glaze sauce on the root vegetables, which were fantastic. Our waiter matched us with the perfect wine for it. We went with a sweeter wine. It was just out of this world good. This is because Jiko does do the changing the menu a little bit here and there thing. It's no longer listed on Jiko's menu, the Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
But we got it at Christmas time at Jiko, and we were in the wine room, so it was really, really intimate, and the lighting is great. were like one of two tables that had people on it. So our waiter was on top of his game, giving us a max amount of attention. It was, and this is at the same time I got the Cape May seafood curry I just talked about a little while ago. I almost licked mine, and then I had my wife, so I was saying, I think I made the wrong purchase. And the Cape May seafood was excellent, and I was thinking, why did I waste my time? That Wagyu beef was better every day of the week. And oh my, that's why I think it's kind of a cop out, because Wagyu is so popular. But I understand why. Steak is still very good. We can still make good steaks at home. But once you've had Wagyu beef, now the next thing, of course, is to get the real Wagyu from either Takumite or from Morimoto's. Which,
or Teppanyaki as well.
They do that Teppanyaki too?
Yeah, it's an add-on there, but it was very, very good.
I've never had the true A5 Wagyu from Japan. I've heard and I've seen videos of, like, you touch it raw and it starts to melt with your hand, with the heat of your hand.
I would not know that for sure, but it's really good.
So I would love to try the real stuff, but as of right now, if the American stuff is that good, I can only imagine that the straight from the source is even better.
Yeah.
So that's my number one. I'm sad that they took it off the menu. I hope that they bring it back. Disney, I think, is going more towards not changing the menus as much. It depends on the chef, because some chefs can get away with it and some chefs don't. So
right.
But that's my number one.
Okay.
Can yours top mine? I bet you can.
I don't know if I can top yours, but I am also going to go to a signature restaurant for mine. This one is really fresh on the memory, although I've had it twice. And
that says a lot too.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's the same recipe. The first time I had it was in 2010, and then the most recent time I had it was earlier this year in January when we were there for the marathon weekend. Okay, so this is Le Cellier Steakhouse in Canada. And as much as I love to rave about that cheddar cheese soup that they have, the number one entree that I could possibly recommend is the Le Cellier Filet Mignon.
Okay.
And it's funny, they call this place Le Cellier Steakhouse. It's in Canada at Epcot, yet the Le Cellier Filet Mignon was affirmed by our server, the only cut of steak that they serve in that restaurant that is actually from Canada. Even on the menu, the ribeye is USDA prime. The New York strip is USDA prime, but the filet mignon is AAA Canadian tenderloin. Served with a mushroom risotto, asparagus, tomato relish, and truffle butter sauce.
Dang.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me, is that a filet mignon I don't like to order very often, mainly because as fine a cut of meat as it is, in my opinion, it's also a small cut of meat. I like to have a big steak. But at Le Cellier, it's still relatively small. I don't remember how many ounces it is precisely, but they do it so perfectly well, and much to my personal shame, I have not perfected grilling a filet on my own nearly as well. So this is one of those things that if you ever find me in Le Cellier Steakhouse, I will get this dish every time. And the neat thing about it is the mushroom risotto with the truffle butter sauce in particular, it just really gives you something that's going to go into your stomach and just boom, there it is. So it makes it perfect because it fills your stomach, and then you get the added benefit of having the delicious flavor of the filet mignon on top of it or along with it. The two complement each other very, very well, and you walk away satisfied, and it's great.
Ooh, steak sounds really good right now.
Doesn't it though?
One thing I will say is I've been working on the steak. We do the reverse sear.
Okay.
You sear it, and then you throw it in the oven to finish it off.
Mm.
That makes a good steak at home, let me tell you.
Mm.
And then we'll take the drippings from the pan, and I'll throw some heavy cream in there. At first, what I'll do with the drippings in the pan is I'll cook cut up onions, cook the onions in the drippings, salt,
Yeah.
pepper, and then throw in heavy cream after the onions are caramelized, and then add a little bit of cheese, and then that's like the best steak sauce you've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
I've always enjoyed it when the chef takes my steak and he sears it and then he roebucks it. That
Ooh.
was a joke. That was a joke. Probably the only the over 50 crowd will really get that, the Sears and Roebuck thing. But anyway, I couldn't
Ooh.
I couldn't I couldn't resist. I'm
Couldn't help
sorry.
yourself?
Yeah. Hey, I'm just trying to get the dad jokes in early, I guess. I don't
Hey, well, you got to practice, right?
know. Yeah.
But oh goodness, why do we always talk about food? Because food is the vacation. What, right? Is that what it is?
Well, for me, it's a third of the vacation when it comes to Disney World, but nonetheless, a third is a very strong percentage.
Thank you, my government mathematician friend.
Hey, anytime.
You gotta watch out with that government math, I'm telling you. I don't even know what that means. But I think we're gonna wrap it up here, y'all. This is a lot of fun. This one, we're looking forward to. Leave questions in the comments, of course. Share with your friends. Do all the fun stuff. Hopefully, we'll be able to. My plan is for Justin and I to do a big macaroni and cheese review across the parks at some time in the next year or so. What do you think about that?
That'd be tough.
That would be top notch.
Yeah.
Or at least film us eating some macaroni and cheese. That's what I really want to do. But anyway, that's it for now, guys. Y'all have a good night.
See you real soon.